Hello and welcome to another session of Blades in the Dark. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session in our series. Last time, our characters engaged in a job that did not go as they hoped it would. The first part went well. They were able to track back and find their way to essentially the both the origin of the killer, as well as the cultists, some cultists that seem to have been involved with what happened with Stitch. Uh, we have in hand a person that Stitch brought back from there. And in fact, we are going to start with that just because that may frame up some other things. Um, and then we're going to kind of go around and talk about like what that downtime we just did with all of the various uh, healing and injuries and clearing what that looked like. So, Sabine, uh, how do you want to play this out?
Um, how do I want to play which part of it out,
As we
please?
like we have you have this person.
Yes.
Torture is not in the cards.
No, 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 it's
So
not.
what do you think? Like how how would you approach it? Are you bringing the others of your companions in on it? Are you going back to the safe house? Are you going somewhere else to have this conversation?
I think I'm bringing them back to the safe house, and the first thing I will do is Stitch will do is that they will check the wounds of this person because I remember that they were injured by the explosion, right?
Yes, they got hit by the very first explosion.
Yes.
So one of the things is that is that for them there was an explosion. And literally, the next thing that they will realize is they will wake up with their wounds tended in
Oh,
probably your lab,
poor
uh,
thing.
uh, uh, and the group of you around. Uh, this person looks shaken, um, and will look around at the four of you before their eyes kind of come uh to rest on you, Stitch.
Is that a young person, an older person? Is that more of a lab technician or a lab scientist? What have we
Uh
got here?
he looks like he's middle age. He has some books and notes and things like that with him, and he he's like says what is going on? What how is it that
Hello. You can call me Mr. Vaughan. What may I call you?
ah uh GABA, you don't remember
Okay.
me?
No. Should I?
No, I suspect not. Um, I suspect not. Um, uh,
Ah, were you on the island on the Undertow?
I was, yes, I was
Oh,
there. Um, and uh, when it all went wrong, I was a few. I was. There were a few of us that made it out, and the master decided to come here. Um,
so you were a servant of one of the scientists. Am I reading this correctly?
I'm a colleague. I'm not a
Oh,
servant.
I apologize. My apologies. I did not mean to underplay a role in this whole horrifying experiment that went down on the Undertow. So you were actually responsible for all of that.
Well, responsible that's a big word.
If you were a
Um,
colleague, then you were responsible, my friend.
I was responsible for the working, but I was not responsible for what what happened afterwards. Uh, uh, but I came here and I have very few other choices. So when the master set his new plan in operation, I assisted in these things.
I find it strange, but that might just be me, that you call a colleague the master.
The master's the master. The master is in charge. He has the vision. It was he that created you all, and uh,
Pretty sure I was created by Solomon Vaughn.
that is a matter of dispute. Uh,
Um, okay, I cannot judge. I was present, but not exactly conscious.
you were created by Vaughn as an answer, as a response to what the
Oh, yes,
master
yes, I
did.
remember. I remember that. Fine. And the master is trying to redo this experiment that he had in mind.
He hopes that would allow him to regain control of his creation or you.
But his creation didn't work. That's what I was told, at least.
His creation, I don't know if you remember battling his creation, the conflict that started the conflagration.
I have my memories are really fractured about this time, to be
Let,
honest.
allow me to elucidate in the most. Might I have a glass of water or something?
Yes, you might.
Yes. Um,
I will give him a glass of
okay.
water.
Say, your creator had disagreements with the master's goals. I was not entirely privy to the full picture of the goals. I was a colleague and a technician and a techno archaeologist on these things. Uh, and when the master put his creation out there, Vaughn, not you, Vaughn, but the other Vaughn,
Yes.
uh, uh, put you into play to stop them. Uh, uh, and there was a struggle, and things went decidedly wrong in all kinds of ways. Um, and so eventually, the master, myself, and a couple of others came here on the trail of uh, his creation. And as it turned out, you.
Oh, so the creation worked. I was misinformed then.
I, I don't know exactly what has happened to it, uh, but it may have returned back to the place from whence the master drew its original
Arts.
parts, um, from the rift at the
Oh,
center of the island.
huh. Didn't know that. Okay.
Well, I have been decidedly forthcoming and communicative and very pleasant in this. So, might I ask, looking around at all of you who look like you're in somewhat battered shape, um, uh, what is it that you intend to do with me?
We don't like having a murderer run around killing people and then taking their parts. That we object to that.
That does seem like a thing that one would object to if one had a choice on these things.
Mhm. Yeah.
And he will at this point kind of look around at Electra
Mhm.
and Halen and Shale and kind of like trying to figure out exactly who they are to you, what is happening here.
I have a few ideas about what to do with them if you need some suggestions, Stitch.
I think maybe we should leave him here to recuperate a little while we discuss what to do with him.
That wasn't my idea. I was thinking about taking him up to the top of the clock tower and, oops,
Murder
my hand
him.
slipped.
No, I'm
I
not a
mean,
murderer. I
well,
just
that's
put him
just
back
it.
together.
I
Just put him
I
back
would be
together.
doing that. You wouldn't have anything to do with it. Your hands would be clean. In much the same way that he's arguing his hands are clean.
Oh, no, no, no. Let me be absolutely clear about this. My hands are not clean. I was decidedly involved in the previous project, and while I was under orders, I certainly have responsibility and blame for what has occurred here in the city.
Weren't you just denying that you have responsibility?
No, no, no. I I was not responsible for the explosion and destruction of the original lab. That
Mm,
that is what I was disclaiming responsibility for.
I see. So you admit that you are responsible and in a group with others for all the murders that have occurred?
I fear I have to, yes.
You see, Stitch, he agrees with me.
I don't know if he agrees with you precisely. And I'm, I don't feel, it doesn't feel right to throw a man from a tower if he can't fight against, if it's not in a fight. Sorry.
Okay, can we just keep that on the list of options of things to do?
No. No,
I I should make it clear that I am a cowardly and venal person with as some people have said, less backbone than many vertebrates. I will, if you have orders for me, if there's things you need me to do, if you would like me to beg for my life, I will certainly do that. I think I can be of use to you, but I will certainly understand if you wish to secure me in some way for a time while you make
mm,
your decisions.
that is
Okay, do
very forthcoming of you. I mean, not that you have a choice, but you put a good spin on it.
I was cursed with a great degree of self-reflection and self-awareness, um, unfortunately.
Mm. Well, I think we will just maybe bind him and then have a little talk while he isn't listening, because I don't think he needs to know everything.
So I think it is reasonable to say that you have space here. You also have your physician who can keep an eye on
Yeah.
him, and
Yes.
and his oath is to protect people and to make sure they survive. And after he's done treatments for the rest of you, he will keep an eye on Mr. Gaba.
Okay.
Um, Sabine, would you like to have that conversation with the others now, or do you want to do a once around about that? What would you prefer?
I don't know. Maybe see what the others were up to while I was taking care of Mr. Gaba.
Okay. So uh, Electra, you had some healing that you did during this time, right?
I believe so.
Uh,
Yeah, it didn't go very well, but
you still got those bruised ribs, you still got the injury. So what do you think we see of you in the next couple of days? Like what is Electra up to? Does she go back to work? Um,
um,
and how does this complicate things either way?
yeah, I mean, I have to. I can't not show up to work. That's going to be terrible. But now I also have this metal thing on my face.
Yes.
So I think I start wearing, not an eye patch, but like a scarf over my eye and say that I burned myself on something. I was in an accident. Uh,
Oh, and say, yeah, when the blaze from the stuff gets in the air, you get those cinders. My sister got a big cinder from it in her eye one year, and it started seeping. So yeah, I understand. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't had that yet, but I hope I don't. But yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
You will definitely hear around in the prison and stuff. There is some some upset because another one of these bodies went missing. And of course, they don't know what has gone on with that. So uh, uh, the honorable are kind of out in force here. Um, and at some point, uh, and you are very much down at the bottom of the list, but uh, there's a knock at your closet door, and before you can kind of say anything, the door opens and this honorable sergeant will peer in and will say, Electra Nesbit,
Yes.
your name has popped up in connection with an investigation currently occurring regarding the mortuary recently.
Oh, well, if there's anything I can do to help, I'll be happy to.
Well, there was paperwork that showed that you were doing some oversight in the
Yes,
area.
yes, that's correct.
And can can you tell me, did you see anything unusual during your time there?
Hmm. I think what I will try to do is mention things that I did see that were like, oh, here's something that's not quite right, or that's not quite in accordance with regulations, like push for that sort of thing.
Sure. So let's have you make a sway roll.
Oh,
Uh, and I'll kind of break it down for you. On a miss, you raise some suspicion, like your name is going on another list. On a 4 to 5, they kind of listen and then walk away. A 6 means that you can kind of plant whatever seed or point or direction you want to them that you want to. Does that seem fair?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Um, so sway, I have to, yeah. Um, I think you can just roll that straight up.
Okay.
Those are two threes.
So the sergeant listens to you and says, it's a remarkably detailed account that you've provided me there.
Well, I was there to provide to do oversight, and I take my job seriously.
May I ask a personal question?
course.
Something happened to your eye recently?
Oh yes, cinders. It's like I was told to keep it covered.
I see. I see. Well, and you could tell that their brow furrows. You can see them. There's even probably a scratch as you hear them like circle your name on their little stylus tablet, and they go, "Well, I think that will be all, Miss Nesbit."
Well, if there's anything I can help you with in the future, please don't hesitate to ask.
I appreciate you making that offer, and I will certainly follow up on that.
So, is this like extra heat, or is it just a fictional
Yeah,
thing?
I'm actually going to put another heat on the group here. Uh, Shale, uh, you did a couple of things during this. You talked to your friend, went to Salia, kind of trying to make things up, uh, and well, you also did some of the healing project, right?
Mhm.
We talked about this last time, kind of as a thing we wanted to go into. Now, after the fight, what do you think that wound from that solidified language? We know that it kind of cut into your side. Um, what does that look like? What does it, what does it feel like in the aftermath? Does it feel like a normal wound? Does it feel different? What do you think?
That's a good question. I wrote down thorny language, parentheses, shaken and confused, and thinking that a harm level can also represent like being emotionally drained or shaken. It doesn't have to be physically.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and I
so when you
mhm,
go to look at where the wound hit you, there's not actually a physical
mhm,
scar? Okay.
mhm. Or let's make it a bit more open, and maybe we can open table that too, because that is world building what we're doing here. Like how does that how does what do you guys think? Like what would be a cool way for these kinds of word mages to hurt us? Because we haven't had that before.
Anything people want to throw in on this?
Could
What if the
be.
letters turned into shrapnel?
Ooh, that's cool.
Maybe glowing visibly lightly under the skin where it hit, something like that.
Oh, interesting. Some kind of writing that serves as a scar, as a marker under the skin. Okay.
Mhm.
Electra?
Yeah, I was thinking along the ways of sound vibration, like
Mm.
your your you get hit with these like pulses of uh, heavy vibration, and that kind of you still have that resonance in your body.
Mhm. I like both of that, and maybe we can synthesize that there's this just like vibration that causes the rupture of like blood vessels and forces causes a bruise to shape, and then that bruise coalesces into a tattoo like word, um, and the healing is like this word um, like going away,
Mm,
fading from the skin.
I
Is
like that.
is it always the same word, or are there different words that can appear here?
Also, good question.
I mean, if it is, you have trauma from this, right? So it
Hmm.
won't ever be fully gone. So that might happen when you're shaking and stuff happens. That then you hear this vibration, and this bruise comes
Oh,
back, and it looks like a word, but what does it say? It's maybe a little open to the interpretation.
I love that. Like this is not strictly connected with a wound and healing system, but I do have this haunted trauma. So then maybe I see this word like on the walls or like in the eyes of people, um, or hear that certain vibration.
I imagine that vibration sticks with you for a while, probably makes it, maybe even gives you some tremors to your voice for a bit, or certain words you have a trouble saying for the first few days after that, that kind of all connects in with it.
Mm. Mm. So
Uh,
with that, it's like a fear of that sound of
mhm.
that vibration.
So what is it that you do? Like, what do we see you doing regarding that wound and this sort of haunted state you have in the aftermath? Like, what's a montage we see of you in the aftermath?
That's another good question. Another world building question. Like, does our medic? Let me just quickly look up his name because we mention him way too rarely. Tala. Does Tala is Tala familiar with that kind of herd, or is it something new that the 14th are bringing and have picked up in the rift?
I think Tala will say, I've seen this before, but not as composed. I've seen
Mm.
folk on the street who've picked up a few words and can throw them, but not as not like this.
Mm.
I can treat the physical side of this, but there's a bit of this that my art just can't handle, that it's going to take time for you to process.
Mm.
I know that. I've seen people killed by this kind of thing, and I've seen people get hit by a blast of it, and it's taken them time to regain speech. Magic is magic is scary and it's dangerous.
Mm. Tala, you said that you haven't seen that as refined yet. How is it different?
You see how you've got a word
Mm.
there? Like, I can't quite make it out, but it's the difference between Electra's handwriting and the handwriting of a child who
Mm.
knows a few letters. Uh, when when one of these Babel mages from the street throws it, it's a scrawl. It's big and messy, and this, it looks like it cut you there. The Babel mages, it's more like they've slapped you hard,
Mm.
and there's big messy letters that go away.
Mm. And just for my professional curiosity, does that look like the work of a craftsman or of a child? What would you say?
What do you mean?
Like, do these does the mage that hit me, does he know how to wield this language, or is he?
Oh, yes. I've never
Yeah.
seen it as focused as this.
Oh God.
You're very lucky that he just hit you on the side, I think.
No, it looks like we're in over our head. Um, Thank you for your help anyway.
No, and again, I'll give you, you're going to want to keep this compress on it,
Mm.
and I'll prepare a draught that you're going to take the next few nights to help yourself sleep. so you're not rolling around on your side.
And as always, if there's anything I can do for you, just tell me.
You, it is my task.
Hmm. On the topic of sleep, didn't we have a crew advance last time?
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe we want to invest in crew quarters or something?
That is certainly a possibility. We have a crew advancement that you all got. You can take another special ability, or you can take two things from the uh, uh, the qualities. Um, would you all like to have quarters here?
Cher would like to have a secure place to sleep.
Okay.
I want my
I-
own place, so no.
I
It's not
would not mind,
super
but
important to me, but I think it's good for the crew.
Mm.
I mean, if everybody's in, then fine.
And then if we go for that, we have still another thing that we can take.
Yeah.
So we've got the various quality gear. We have training, the various different training types. We can secure your layer.
Mm. That's probably also a good idea.
Mhm.
Halen, Sabine, thoughts on that?
Maybe have a barge or something.
That's interesting too.
Yeah, we can have a boat or a carriage.
I'm always a fan of training, of being able to get extra ticks when we train, but
Yeah, that's always useful. I'm not sure if it's worth it with as few sessions as we have left
Yeah.
with from a pure gaming.
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because as much heat as we're gathering, I don't see us training a lot.
All right.
I mean, just saying.
Should we just secure the base then?
Yeah, I
Handle it
think
that way?
since we had a visitor, I think investing in some security feels
That
like a good idea.
would also make sense narratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So then maybe let's have a little montage about how we secure it and how we create our quarters. What do you think?
Yeah. So let's ask the security question. Like let's start with that one, get that resolved, and then we're going to ask the quarters question. Then I'm going to come to Halen to ask about what they're doing. So Shale, what is it that you do to help make the tower secure?
Mhm. I think playing to my strength as a whisper, I will mostly make sure that the people in the neighborhood know that we are there and serve as a like distraction and as a diversion if somebody wants to find us, and they're like, no, there's never been anybody up there in the clock tower. No, never, sir.
I like that. Excellent. Halen, what are you doing to help keep the tower secure or make it secure?
Hmm. Let me know if this is too much,
Sure.
but I think I've started training rats to smell explosives so that we'll have some advance warning should anybody try to blow up our base.
I like that. That's crazy and wild, and I think that's wondrous, and fits with the explosive theme that we've already gotten for you. So I think that's fair.
Okay.
Stitch, what are you doing to help, like, make sure that the clock tower is secure, defendable, non-accessible?
I think I will create some I mean, we have a lot of rubble, right? This looks
Mhm.
like this pretty much it looks like a rundown place, like a ruin.
Yeah.
So let's make some more rubble in more strategic regions and let's make it a little unstable. You will all receive some training on how to approach the rubble so you won't be hit by an avalanche or something like that.
People who try to come here will get
Yeah,
hit by falling rocks,
yeah,
will lose their footing, all of that. That sounds
yeah.
great.
And also it makes the tower look more abandoned, more like a ruin.
Okay. And then Electra, what about yourself?
Well, playing into my strength, I think I get some paperwork planted
Hmm.
that, oh yeah, this place is or actually maybe like having it removed from paperwork, like this address isn't noted anywhere, so that it becomes kind of a ghost building.
Absolutely. Keeps a little bit of public attention on you away. It
Yeah,
falls off the map. I think
yeah.
that's great. And then let's ask, Shale, for you, being able to sleep here is a real advantage, right?
Yes.
So what is it that you do to kind of set up quarters for yourself?
Mm, I think in the short instance, just putting down a blanket. But in the longer instance, maybe we cordon off little parts of the tower with like blankets on a string, so we have our own quarters. And then little by little, by and by, because we also don't have any money, I will steal like a pillow, a mattress, and nice fabrics here and there, and make a little nest.
Yeah. Is that what makes this place that we know it's yours is a little bit of like high quality items kind of decorating the
Hmm.
broken down hammock and such?
Yes, yes, and
Okay.
like silk curtains and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Halen, do you set yourself up a little nest here as an alternate spot, or are you kind of not bedding down here at all?
Oh, I'm moving in. Are you
Okay.
kidding me? Um, but I think what I do is I look up in the rafters and I look for what look like sturdy beams that will actually hold weight, and
Hmm.
I set up a hammock for myself. So even here, I'm kind of on Overwatch and I can look down and be hidden in the darkness just in case anything happens. Anybody tries to come in and mess around with anything.
Yeah, you are up in the belfry, up in the rafters, watching from above. That makes
Almost
perfect
like I'm
sense.
some sort of bat woman.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Oh,
Uh,
and
yes,
of course we need to fix the holes in the walls,
yeah.
so that it's like nice and insulated and keeps warm.
Patching those with some of the rubble, using that as part of your security
Mhm.
thing to keep that.
Mhm.
Stitch, uh, like, are you avoiding sleeping here? Are you setting up something in your
No,
lab?
I'll set something up in my lab. I mean, I'm looking for my own place
Right.
eventually, but if everybody's moving in, I will help make this place a little more livable. I will install some basic plumbing
Okay. Yeah. There
so that we can
was.
have running water and
Good
have a
idea.
toilet thingy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but mostly running water, find an old oven or stove or something that we can cook, so we can maybe cook a thing or two
Yes, very
and
good.
have a very subtle chimney, so people don't see the smoke coming from here. That's the tricky bit.
Yeah.
But there's always a little bit of magic that you can do to hide the smoke.
Nice.
But
I'll source the
this,
Right.
food.
yeah. This is a city with a lot of haze and things. So
Mhm.
you can certainly use a little bit to conceal that. And Electra, you have that lovely closet with the desk. Are you setting yourself up here any kind of space?
I think I have like a spare cot or something, but just like a fold up thing.
Hmm.
So just in case. But I think I shuffle some like assignments around at the at work to get a couple of blankets and just some like basic amenities for everyone, just so that we have like some. It's cheap and it's not high quality, but it's new
Right.
yeah.
Nice.
Very thin cotton blankets, very basic uh, uh, wood shaving stuffed pillows, that kind of thing. Uh, Before I come back to Stitch and the conversation about uh, uh, Mr. Gaba, uh, Halen, you really took some hits in that fight, uh, that conflict, and uh,
Nonsense. It was only 2 trauma,
yeah. Uh,
barely a scratch.
what do you think it is that we see on screen that maybe tells us something about those trauma that you've taken, the choices that you've made with that?
I think I've set up a flat piece of wood up near my hammock, and it has notes and scraps of paper pinned up onto it. Maybe an illustration of a face or two from what I've been able to sketch from what I remember of the killer. And there's string between these pins on it. So the first thing I see when I wake up is this literal murder board.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I see before I go to sleep is this literal murder board. And if I'm not working a case in my day job, and if I am not needed for a job for the crew or doing something around the headquarters, I am up in my hammock, staring at that board, making changes, adding things. And I mean, I'm doing it in a hammock.
Mm-hmm.
That's not exactly the most stable kind of seating. And it's a hammock that's probably 25, 30 feet up. So, it's quite a distance if I fall. And I think you
Yeah.
also, go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
So I think you also see me at night on the rooftops, dropping down behind people and demanding that they tell me what they know. So I'm a little less subtle and a little, I don't seem to have time for much else but catching this murderer.
Okay. A little noisier, a little louder. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. If you want to add a tick to the heat there because I'm being louder.
Yeah. Oh no, I think that will come when we go to make
sure
some rolls later. So I think that's fair. So let's come back to the question at hand, where we kind of flash back a little bit, and now we're back in the tower. After this conversation with Gaba, you've kind of gone up a level, and it's the four of you around your slightly bigger planning table. Now the planning table has some legs rather than just being a post. It actually has 3 legs, like a bigger stool. You can actually put some pieces of paper on it. And Stitch, what is it that you are saying to the others or proposing to the others about Gaba?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't really know what to do with this guy. I don't want to murder him. He's a small wheel, like a small cog in the whole thing, and I don't think we will damage the whole of the machine if we just take out that cog. Maybe we can use that cog though.
The problem that I see is that look at how much he told us and how quickly.
Yeah.
He'll talk that easily about us if somebody catches him.
Exactly.
So we need to prevent that somehow.
No.
We can't use them.
No, we just need to feed him the right information to blab out.
Yes.
That's the thing with people like that. It's a cog. We can use it if we are clever about it. Just throwing it at the machine won't do nothing. like scraping it a little, putting it in the wrong place, and you clog the whole machine. This is a simile. I'm bad at this.
No, you
I
are
don't
amazing at that.
rightly know what I want to do with him. I just don't want to murder him. I think we can use him if we are clever about it, which, okay, our recent track record might not speak for us in the clever department, but I mean, we have clever people here, right? And I'm looking at Electra and Shale.
That recklessness, though, could work in our favor because they might believe that he had overheard something vital because we were talking about it within earshot without realizing that he could overhear it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not known for being particularly clever.
I'm not known for being particularly subtle.
We
No.
just need to make sure that he can't lead anyone here.
Well, I mean, he hasn't seen much.
He
No,
came in unconscious. He's seen one room.
Yeah.
When he leaves, he can't leave on his own.
No.
We have to take him out of here.
Yeah.
And
So what do we want to feed him?
I think, in a way that makes it seem like we're not just letting him go.
No, he needs to be able to run from Halen, probably.
And also, speaking of the unsubtle, that we did talk about that being a secondary reputation that you all have developed for your group, which I'm actually going to have to pen in here at some point.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is keeping this person secured for the moment, getting them to help out, and also carefully, I mean, and this is especially of Electra and Dominic, coming up with potentially false information that he will overhear, so that either when you let him go, or if he escapes, he will provide escapes. He will be a useful distraction with a great deal of wrong information. Does that seem like a reasonable summary?
Yeah.
Okay.
We already know where we want to use him?
No. No, I don't.
Shale. Go ahead.
Just saying I need to find my creator, I guess, and ask a few pointed questions here or there.
Because, like, I think in the spirit of Blades, we could just table that, leave him out and then define later what we fed him.
Yeah,
100%, absolutely. That's exactly how I think we'll do it. Is at some point, for the moment, because you have secured the base, he is secure, and unless there's a severe consequence for something, he is going to be safe and held there, and he is a tool in your arsenal to use for the future. That seems reasonable. Let's take our first break here. Let's take the 10 and come back, and I want to do a chance of everybody to do a scene with a fellow PC and a scene with an NPC. Like do a go around on that. So let's take 10 and then we'll be back. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to start kind of the same order that we had before, and like have a chance for each of you to call a scene with one of your fellow PCs in some context. Stitch, would you be okay starting?
Yeah, I think Stitch had something that he wanted to talk about with Halen anyways. If you're okay with that, Pocket, I think this would be pretty much soon after we've talked to Gaba and about Gaba and his plans for Gaba. And when we are at some sort of a break, maybe cooking or something, would Halen help with that?
I will probably look strangely at the implements and powders and other such things that you have arrayed around you, but I'll do what you tell me to do.
Okay.
I'm not sure I've actually cooked before.
Well, it's not that hard. I mean, I'm not a great cook. I just know how to put stuff in water and boil it until it's edible. And I've heard about spices, so I'm trying that. So, I have a question. This might be a weird one. Because when we were looking, for these people that were creating, well, that were called gathering parts, was that something about that being sacrilege or blasphemy? Don't recall your words properly. Maybe I misunderstood.
Doing things like that to the dead is inappropriate where I come from. We have to bury our dead in the water. We don't have land. We don't keep them on ships. We have a boat. It's not that its sole purpose is preserving the memories of those who have left us, but over time it has become a boat where that is done.
Where what is done? Sorry.
Where we remember the dead.
Oh, okay.
We inter them at sea. We wrap them in muslin and weight them with rocks and other things that we don't need. And we say goodbye to them, and we deposit them and bequeath them to the sea.
Made me think is all.
Why is that?
I mean, look at me. What do you think? What I made of? Hold up both hands, and they're clearly not the hands of the same person.
This was done to you. You did not choose to do this.
No, but I am this.
You are, but it is not a choice that you made. I love who you are, Stitch.
Do?
I do.
Why?
Because you're kind.
Well,
that is
yeah.
a rare quality.
I'll try.
But as part of that, I know sometimes that you struggle.
Yeah. It's not surprising, is it?
No, it's not. But I would like to make sure that people don't struggle the way that you do.
Yeah, I mean, I do struggle, but I don't know if I want to be seen as a mistake.
You aren't a mistake.
I'm a blasphemy.
No, you aren't that either. This was done to you without your consent by grave robbers. That you happen to become the person you are is I won't say it's a miracle, but among my people, you would be marveled at.
Okay.
Not as a thing, But as a human, true and whole,
Thanks for saying that. I'm just wondering, where I came from.
I can understand that.
Hmm.
I know
Probably
where
never
I
find
came
out.
from, and I promise you, Stitch, I will help you find out.
I don't know if I want to, but yeah, thank you.
It
Oh,
feels like
don't put that there. Don't put that there. That will taste terrible.
that
And I'll like kind of stick my finger to the spice and touch my finger to my tongue and make a face like I've just tasted the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah, see.
let's come to Electra. Electra, let's have you call a scene with a fellow PC. Who would you like to talk to, and where do you want to frame that scene up at?
Yeah, I think I want to talk to Halen. I'm not sure. Where do you think, what do you think we could be doing together in the clock tower?
Maybe reviewing the papers that you misplaced to erase the clock tower from public records, seeing if there's any
Yeah, sure.
information we can get about it or surrounding areas.
Yeah. Yeah, like finding references to other places that we also need to get into, or other documents that need to be removed or altered. So I'm like overtly like focusing on that task, but I'm talking to you at the same time. So what do you think we did wrong in the last job?
Would you like to list alphabetically or in number?
Either way is fine.
We didn't do sufficient reconnaissance. We didn't get enough intel. We didn't do enough research. We didn't have enough people. We didn't have enough equipment. The equipment that we did bring was not the right type, and I have to admit, my tendency toward explosives in this case was a detriment to the mission as a whole. At least by my reckoning, 40 to 50% of this disaster is my fault.
I'm not going to say you're wrong.
But you think it's closer to 60 or 70%?
No, I think we all have to bear some of the blame. And perhaps your over enthusiasm for blowing things up as a first recourse is puts you slightly ahead of the rest of us, but I don't think you have to take the majority of the blame on yourself.
Well, it seems that the explosions were a majority of the problem, so.
Well, they didn't do this.
That's true. Next time I'll treat it like our first big job together, and I'll use explosives as a second or third or last resort, perhaps, just for variety's sake.
I think that may be wise. And I'm not trying to say that explosives are never the solution, because they definitely are. But, in moderation and with a little bit more consideration before employing them.
But I do appreciate that you acknowledge that explosives are an answer.
Yes, I mean, otherwise, how would we deal with things that really need to be loaded? I don't think blowing up that terrible laboratory or whatever you would call it that they were working in would have been a bad idea, just maybe not with us in it.
Mm. You have a point. Is there anything I can do to help you with your eye? Or is this something that's just going to take time?
I have no idea. This is a slightly magical object, and it's uncomfortable, but I don't think it's getting worse, at least not right now. So I either hopefully it will heal and or I can remove it, but for now I think it's more dangerous to disturb it.
I see.
Does that feel like scene?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Shale.
Yes.
Which PC?
At the danger of sounding uncreative, but I also would like to talk to Halen.
That's perfectly fair.
And the stakes, like what I would get out of the scene is maybe get an in on Halen's like inner workings with all the new trauma. And I think we set the scene on the roof of the clock tower, and it's nighttime, and somewhere in the favelas below the clock tower there is a like backyard barbecue happening, and the sounds, the smells of that are coming up to us. And we're sitting there, or Halen is sitting there, and Shale, and here's Shale coming up behind her. Like Shale is not sneaky enough to just do the Batman. She will hear him coming, and he sits down next to her while she is, I imagine, in this crouched Batman pose, and he's just like letting his legs like hang down from the roof, and for a while they're just staring into the night together, and then at some point Shale opens the discussion, just saying, hey, how are you feeling? What did we see that day? What was that?
If I had an answer to that, Shale, I wouldn't be up here. I'll take a nice long swig from, it's kind of like it's a gourd, and you can tell it's been hollowed out, and then I offer it to you.
Shale takes a big swig.
It is extraordinarily strong.
And says, I keep seeing that word everywhere. When I close my eyes, I see it. When I look in the mirror, I see it. I'm afraid of children running past the clock tower because they make sounds, and these sounds, they ring in my bones. I don't know what that magic was.
Words have power, Shale.
They do.
I know
they
this
do indeed.
Probably better than all of us. My job is finding the power in words and the ways that they're arranged to benefit people because it can be interpreted in one way or another.
Mm.
It's not magic, at least not the kind that you were attacked with, but I suppose it's a kind of magic. It's something you have to be trained in.
Mm. How are you feeling with all that, though? I mean, you were unconscious for most of the day, but there has to be something that stuck with you, isn't there?
My failure.
Mm.
We had the killer right there.
Mm.
And my impulsiveness, my mistakes allowed him to escape.
Mm.
I'm going to find him, Shale. I'm going to find him. And when I do, nothing will stand in my way.
Aside
I don't
from,
intend to capture him.
Mm.
I intend to kill him.
I'm not going to try to talk you out of that. I would just like to caution you to be prepared when you do that.
Absolutely. I'm planning. I am training. I'm praying. But I did have an idea with our guest downstairs.
Mm. I take another swig from the gourd. I'm here to help you, Aiden. You don't have to be alone on your clock tower. What is your idea?
How would you feel about being a double agent?
I've been called worse.
It occurs to me that when it's late and we're sleeping, you could sneak down and untie his bonds and help him escape. Perhaps even escape with him.
Mm.
Perhaps my recklessness is, you could use that as, and by way of explanation. I don't think anyone who's come into contact with me would look too hard at that. If you said something like, I don't want to die because I got caught in the blast radius.
Also, you are an irresponsible maniac with a hair temper. So, I don't
That's one way
trust
to
you.
look at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like with a big wink, you know. I don't trust you, and that's what I'm going to tell our guest. That he needs to go to his masters and tell them what. How
We
can
can
we
always
bring you
tell them.
down, Halen? With a big
How could they
smile.
bring me down?
Because clearly you are the phantom in the night and you are the one who's pulling all the strings, aren't you? You are the one they're scared of.
Perhaps you could hint that I have another identity, that you don't know it,
Mm-hmm.
but that it often involves moving in the circles of power they inhabit.
That's great.
Make them
Make them
paranoid
look
of the
over their
people around them.
shoulders.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm. And our guest is the only person who can warn them.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
since our guest hasn't seen my face, I like you, Shale. You do the planning and have the logic that I don't.
Mm.
You're very calculating, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'll take another
Eh,
slug off of the
mm.
bottle and say, we could go down there if your side wouldn't be disturbed too much by the noise. We could go get some of that food because you have to admit, even from this high up, it smells delicious.
It smells delicious. Just one more thing.
Yes.
No, actually, never mind. And he gets up.
And I'll get up.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of going down, I'm just going to attach a rope to the clock tower and slide down the rope.
Yeah, poor Shale is going to have to walk.
Yeah.
And scene.
Halen, do you want to call a scene with the PC? Or are you good with those? The each of them talking to you.
I was hoping maybe I could offer it up to like another pairing or a different pairing.
Okay.
So like if Electra and Stitch wanted to have a chat, or Electra and Dominic wanted to have a chat.
I don't. Let's roll forward here. Is what we're going to
Okay.
do. Before we go to NPC thing, I do want to do something. You all are at your tower when you will receive a missive through your courier system from your patron, 100th Peal, from the Ziggurat mages, and she has asked that you would meet her at a private back room of a restaurant tavern to have a brief conversation about important matters, and has set a time uh, and asked for an RSVP. First time that they've kind of come and asked you for anything.
Let's go.
Sure.
Or send an RSV. Probably I somebody will have to explain to Stitch what an RSVP is.
Probably somebody will do that.
Oh. Okay, we should do that then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Send an RSVP, and we will cut forward to essentially the next day after dark. There's storms over the city. You get these sometimes that come in off the sea. They feel electric when they roll in. Kind of, they bring a certain different kind of humidity with them. You know that when the early morning shower happens, it's going to be particularly weird when those two storm fronts, a natural one and an unnatural one, collide. It creates strange things. There are mudlarks that go out in the streets afterwards because sometimes oddities fall from the sky. But you will go be taken very discreetly through this mid-tier restaurant to the back to a private room where you will see that again, our Ziggurat mage with the big shoulder pads and the angles on her cloak and such is there. There's no food in front of her, but the table has already been set with a variety of dishes, and she'll gesture to all of you to sit down. And she will say, "I apologize for imposing on you. I hope this meal will make up for my dragging you out here. But there is a situation that you have become involved in that I'm hoping that we might share common cause on. Shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
So, I have it on reasonably good authority that you have crossed paths with a pair of, and you see her kind of like takes her a second. Magi. That's not the word. That's not what I really want to call them, but that is the word we are going to use for the moment to describe them because they're not. But that you have encountered a pair of them and she'll turn to you, Shale, and say, and I can still kind of hear the echo of it around you, right? You were wounded? Or am I misunderstanding Mr. Shale about what I'm hearing from you?
It's nothing.
Yes, truly. So I don't know if you had planned to encounter them again.
Not if we can avoid it. They were unpleasant.
They are. Allow me to say this. Were you to cross paths with them again and be able to identify them, and were you to eliminate them, and were you to then bring me their heads, barring that, their tongues, I would reward you handsomely. This is not, this is how handsomely? I can be a very generous person.
I can be very motivated person.
Yes. Let me just say this. I can provide you enough money that if you wish to expand your operations, I can cover that and beyond. Now, this is not a demand. As I said when we first met as patron and client, I would not be making demands on you. This is merely an opportunity, an offer that is out there. Should you decide not to do this, I will not hold it against you. But I thought, yes,
that is very that's very gracious. But you wouldn't happen to have some leads, some ideas, some support maybe, if we were to accidentally stumble over these mages?
I am prevented from assisting you more directly on this matter.
Understood.
If I could, I would provide greater support and incentive than just cash.
I have a question as a player. Sorry, it's one of these magi. Is one of them the master? Do we know that? Or
no, there are three villains left: the two twin mages and the guy with the master with the guy with the garrote.
Oh, the masters. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, as player, is one of them the killer that Halen is after?
That's the guy with the garrote. That's not one of the mages.
Garrote man.
Yeah.
But that is not any of the people that our patron is putting a hit on right now, right?
Just the two mages that you encountered.
Mhm.
That's who she wants dead.
Okay.
She says, "This is an open offer.
Hmm.
Perhaps you'd cross paths with them next week. Perhaps you'd cross paths with them in a year.
Hmm.
Mind you, obviously, given my demeanor at this present, you would assume that I would prefer it sooner. But then again, I understand that the world is a strange place.
Hmm. And the fates are working in mysterious ways sometimes.
Yes. I see that that seems to be coming in nicely, Electra.
I think so.
Yes. What made you decide to do this?
It wasn't a choice.
Oh, I just assumed that you'd. Oh, I apologize then.
I intended to implant this in the creature it's designed to repel, but sadly, my weapon misfired.
That is a pity. That is a pity. Do you think you four would be agreeable to the offer that I have just made?
I
just
generally
smile.
don't see myself as a killer for hire, but these individuals seem to be particularly odious.
They are. Huntress, are you all right with this?
I am perfectly fine with this. And I smile a little bit wider.
Stitch?
I mean, these are bad people, right? I think we will keep our ears open, see what we can hear. Because, truth to be told, these are mages and we are us, and that might be a bit mismatched.
Fair enough. Allow me, if I may, to offer you a sign of my generosity, if I may. Uh, and she will draw out from her bag a set of golden flasks that she will put on the table, and she will say, "These are healing draughts, very expensive. Uh, as you know, the materials from the production houses are used for these and then imbued with certain medicinal properties. I will offer these to you, as I can tell that some of you are still injured. And you can hang on to them, you can sell them, you can use them."
Sounds like you think we might need them if we go after these.
No, 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 no. But yes,
No.
uh,
Yes.
I think that you need them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can still smell the gunpowder on you. Um, so I'll just leave these three here on the
Mm-hmm.
table. They're there for you. This meal has already been paid for. I've instructed them that there's an open tab should you wish to drink. And I'll be going then. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
Good.
Yes, but
Pop.
one
And
moment.
again, she's gone in an instant. There's an explosion of air and stuff. And again, she clearly has no sense of what it's like when she teleports away. The table shakes.
Oh no. But not having touched any of the food while she was there, now I dig in. And I dig in deep.
Okay.
Yeah, what I've left of it, you mean? Okay.
Open top.
Yeah. I look at when this explosion happens, I look at Halen and I say, "Don't you wish you could do that?"
What? Make people disappear with an explosion?
Mm.
I can absolutely do that.
Well,
in the middle of a room where it's socially acceptable for you to do that?
That is power.
Yes to the middle of a room, no to the socially acceptable.
See. Anyway.
You all can chow down on the food. It is relaxing a banquet there that has been provided. Um, it's the kind of meal that'd be ordered by somebody that doesn't know how to order from a menu. Like none of the dishes necessarily fit together. It's like they've chosen a couple from each section, and put that out on the table.
Pretty sure that Stitch does not know that this is not how you order food. I think they find that a perfect way to order food.
But I think for Electra and Shale, there's a certain delight in being able to ask for the wine list or other beverages and scroll down to the bottom of the page and
Yes,
pick something out.
only the best.
So we'll leave that out on as an incentive for that particular job. I actually have to stop here because Sherry has a work thing that she just got called in. They had a little problem at work.
Okay.
So
Take care of Sherry then.
yeah, it's a dumb thing. So I'm going to stop the recording here.